Greetings, I'm your host, Dr. Wolfula, with a review of M3GAN, released in 2023 by, you guessed it, Blumhouse. What other production company is gonna put out a movie like this? I mean, really.
She'll never run out of ways to keep your child occupied, and she'll never run out of patience.
Katie, seriously, flush the toilet.
M3GAN tells the story of a young girl named Katie, left an orphan by a renegade snowplow, and the girl ends up in the care of her aunt Gemma. Man, Katie with a C and a D and Gemma. Those are some textbook annoying white woman names.
Hey, I'm sorry. Let's just talk about it. Hey.
Let me go.
Whoa. Hey, what's going on?
Anyway, Gemma is a terrible surrogate mother who is fixated on her grand work as a designer of those horrible toys you see nowadays. You know, the shitty ones that make you use an app. We should honestly hate Gemma just for that. So, in order to spend less time with the grieving Katie and more time on her very important work as a designer of terrible toys, Gemma completes a sophisticated robot doll she's had on the back burner. M3GAN, short for Model 3 Generative Android, which is just total bullshit in order to get the name M3GAN. Was there a Model 2 Generative Android? M3GAN? What about M3GAN? Was there a M3GAN before those?
What are you doing?
Couldn't sleep. Occupational hazard.
Anyway, M3GAN is designed to bond with Katie, and the robot doll is going to be the next big toy produced by Gemma's employer, Funky Toys. A $10,000 toy that looks like if a real doll was made for child predators. And newsflash, you're not gonna get a lot of kids spending $10,000 for a robot doll like this. Your customers are going to mostly be creepy billionaires with shady private islands.
Great job.
Anyway, you've seen 2001: A Space Odyssey. M3GAN's sophisticated AI and learning programming causes her to overstep her boundaries as an automaton, and we get the typical rogue killer AI story we've seen done 100 times, but, you know, sassier, and with like a dancing scene. That's kind of fun.
What's wrong with you? Don't worry, Katie.
And you know what else is fun? This message from our sponsor, me. Check out the official Dr. Wolfula TeePublic store for savage as fuck shirts, mugs with my mug, and any merch in between. teepublic.com/user/Dr. Wolfula. M3GAN is one of those movies where everything is shown in the trailer. Not just one of those trailers that can be spoilery, but one of those trailers that lays the entire story out in front of you and puts every single memorable moment from the movie in a bite-sized package, especially since this is a PG-13 horror movie. It could get away with some surprising violence given its rating, but not much more than what the trailer showed. The thing is, even if you didn't see the trailer for M3GAN, if you've seen that Child's Play remake or any other rogue AI movie, you know exactly what direction this film's gonna go. What separates M3GAN from its predecessors, though, and what ultimately makes the film watchable at all, is M3GAN herself.
We're not fighting!
Gemma just dropped me on the table, but I'm okay. Clumsy Gemma.
M3GAN isn't very effective as a killer doll movie like the Chucky flicks, but it's at least amusing to watch just for the weird personality quirks of M3GAN. Seeing this robot with an uncanny valley face making sassy comebacks or suddenly breaking out in a song is kind of funny, and the movie does play off its inherent goofiness totally straight, which adds to the humor. Watching this doll murder people and then casually steal a sports car is just so fucking stupid, it's funny.
I won't let anything harm you. Ever again.
That Child's Play remake was never gonna have a chance of emerging from the shadow of its predecessors. Too many people are attached to the Brad Dourif portrayal of Chucky as a doll possessed by a serial killer. They weren't gonna embrace Chucky being a robot doll, voiced by Mark Hamill, with an AI tampered with by a disgruntled factory worker. So the Child's Play remake was pretty much forgotten, at least by me. But the AI doll concept was kinda neat. It should have just been used for an original property, and so M3GAN is a shameless ripoff of that Child's Play remake, but it looked at what worked and what didn't work about that Child's Play remake, and makes enough tweaks to make it a much better viewing experience than that Child's Play remake that might have been passable for a lot of people, but I personally hope to never see it again.
Oh,
One of the issues with the Child's Play remake was that it tried to take a very 80s doll, an amalgamation of a My Buddy doll and Cabbage Patch Kid, and jerry-rig it into this 21st century AI-operated toy, and it just felt kinda half-assed. But with M3GAN, it feels like the concept is much better realized, with M3GAN being an emerging technology, instead of these robotic figures that are already widely adopted. And M3GAN has a predecessor line of cruder toys, complete with pretty authentic commercials. It makes M3GAN feel more grounded in reality. I mean, it goes off the rails into total absurdity as the film goes along, but it starts out kinda believable.
M3GAN, she pushed Brandon onto the road. I won't let anything harm you.
M3GAN isn't much of a horror flick ultimately, and it's not really laugh-out-loud funny either. It's more like a movie you lightly chuckle at, but it's one of those situations where I wish it just got crazier and more over the top. M3GAN is depicted as having an all-powerful AI behind her operating system that her creator seems to have no awareness of, and the robot has super strength for some fucking reason, but neither of those attributes are put to much use. M3GAN only kills 4 people, I believe, through the course of the film. They could have easily gone over the top and had her killing dozens, like that scene with Hit Girl and Kick-Ass. It feels like the character of M3GAN is just kinda wasted, but maybe we will see her full potential realized in the sequel, which will likely be titled M3GAN.
I'm gonna do everything I can to make this place feel like home.
Just wish I could see them again.
M3GAN is fun overall, though admittedly the first half hour before M3GAN is actually introduced is a slog where we have to watch this little girl process the grief of her parents dying. It's just a bummer to sit through. I know it's the emotional core of the film, but I was looking at my watch the whole time. This is a dumb movie about a robot doll named M3GAN. I could care less about one of those kids who looks at an iPad all day losing their parents. Their parents deserve to die for giving them an iPad in the first place.
They could be building emotional connections that are too hard to untangle.
Once you get through that bullshit, M3GAN is ridiculous fun for the most part, but it's ultimately, to me, just an okay movie. That said though, as of the writing of this video, M3GAN has a 95% on Rotten Tomatoes. It has a higher rating than The Shawshank Redemption. Movies like M3GAN really reveal one of the many fundamental flaws of a review aggregator like Rotten Tomatoes, that simply categorize every review into fresh or rotten ratings. Most of the reviews for M3GAN just say it's okay and a fun watch, so those reviews get categorized as fresh, and those freshes stack up to the point where it can make a movie like M3GAN seem like a new horror classic when it really is just a middle-of-the-road flick. Something like Rotten Tomatoes is really only useful for stupid people, who can't be bothered to actually read or listen to a review and instead just look at a score to help them decide what to watch. M3GAN is fine, just, fine. Once it gets started, it can be a lot of fun, but it doesn't feel like it goes far enough with its central villain, and the finale gets kinda tedious after a while watching characters take turns choking each other. I give M3GAN a M3GAN out of M3GAN. You know, M3GAN is a killer doll that isn't very killer, but you know who is killer? The folks who sponsor me on my Patreon. Patreon.com/Dr. Wolfula. Pledge today to support the channel and get early access to vids and private movie night live streams with me every Sunday. If you liked this video, like it, and if you loved it, click the subscribe and bell buttons for more vids. I'd also like to thank these fine folks pledged my shout-out tier on Patreon for all their kind support. Videos like this wouldn't be possible without all their help. Thank you for watching, see you next time. Dr. Wolfula signing out.